Well, I turned on. Oh, okay. No, God, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh,
We're
I
all,
was going to say, well, in this energy, everything just goes to hell in a handbasket.
you know what? Yes, and at the same time, it goes to heaven, or if you, or whatever the higher realms are, in a wonderful bouquet of flowers. It's all
I
simultaneous.
know it's paradoxical, right?
Oh,
It's
there's a
the
good word.
uh, and I didn't mean it in a bad way. I know you know that, but I
Oh
mean,
no, no, I get it.
it's like anything can be challenged. And will be and
And
will be
and that
as
includes
soon as you
us.
think you got it figured out. As soon as you think you got it figured out, I can promise you, you got some humble pie coming. And that's the we can talk about the multidimensionality. We can talk about past lives. We can talk about our starseed lives, our aspects that are in the future that are here helping us. We can talk about, but it's the human in its humility, the journey of humility that is mind blowing.
And so important to have that, to be committed to a journey of humility. We are live right now, aren't we?
Yes,
Hi,
we are.
everybody.
We just
Sorry.
flipped it on. We just started
The
going.
reason we're a few minutes late is because Mare's like sitting there going, "Where's Todd?" And Mare didn't put her name in the little box and click the button. I'm like thinking, oh, that will sign me up for the whole service. I don't want that. Like, okay, here we go. All
I don't know
right.
why we're not getting the Facebook comments on here. I think the last guest was getting them, but I'm not getting them. Are you seeing the comments on the
I'm
on
seeing
the
comments on the right, on
do
the
you
chat.
do you they all have you see how they have the YouTube little red thing? Do you see any with Facebook? Like a blue thing?
I don't see a blue thing.
Okay, so they must have some kind of problem. I'll just have to write them after this show.
Hi, Bruce. Do I know you? Bruce is like,
Bruce is a Soulogy comedian. He's as much a part of this community as anybody.
he's sending me hearts and hugs. Thank you, Bruce. Hearts and hugs back to you.
He likes to flirt. He likes to flirt with Morgan.
Oh, oh. As long as you don't mind, and Morgan doesn't mind. Flirting's harmless, as long as there's, what do I know? I don't know anything.
That's my point about everything going to hell in a handbasket. Open-mindedness is key.
Surrender is key. I just did an interview for a summit yesterday, and the title of my talk was Surrender to the Highest Good. And, by the way, I've been on a health adventure. I messaged Morgan back in the fall.
Talk to me about it.
So the reason this hair is this short is it has not been cut since it was shaved in a ceremony with an amazing Vietnamese Buddhist abbess monk, because I was going through chemo last fall for lymphoma.
Wow.
Yeah. This is the second time that I've been diagnosed with lymphoma. The first time was in 2012. And 4 days after that diagnosis, I was already scheduled to do a ceremony with a gifted Algonquin man that Mother Gaia, Earth Mother, had requested. And when we did that ceremony, well, first of all, I get the diagnosis, and I already know I'm scheduled for the ceremony, and I'm freaking out.
When did you get the diagnosis? The second?
Well, first I got it in 2012, and the second time in August last year.
Okay.
So first time, Mother helped me heal from it completely without the doctors. And my doctor at the time was like, "How did you do this?" Because a year and a half later, there was only one lymph node that was slightly enlarged. But this time, there was a lymph node here. You want to see the scars? I'll show you scars.
Whatever you want to do, sweet lady.
Anyway, oh, thank you for admiring my hair. This is what it looks like after it was shaved last fall. It was falling out, so we got it shaved. So this time I knew I had an enlarged thing here in late July. I knew that I was grappling with some health stuff because I know what the enlarged lymph nodes feel like, having gone through this health adventure in 2012, 2013. And I just took myself to an emergency care clinic in early August and said, I need this look. This needs to be looked at. And they were like, oh yeah, right away. Now we're going to do blood tests, blah, blah, blah. So I had a biopsy a week later. And my brother, I need to put a shout out to my brother. He's a doctor at Johns Hopkins, and he is such a saint for us and our family. So he arranged for one of the top surgeons to do this biopsy. And then the diagnosis came through, lymphoma, stage 3. I'm like, oh, this is not good. So let's just say that Mare's been on a health adventure since that time.
So it's lymphoma stage 3. And what is there? 5 stages? Is it
4?
Is there 4? Oh, 4.
Yeah, I don't think there's a 5th one. If
So
there is, I haven't heard that.
you had a stage 3.
I had a stage 3.
And you have a appointment with this shaman 4 days after you've been diagnosed already. It was already.
Well, okay, there were 2 times. The stage 3 one was just this last year.
Okay.
The one in 2012, they didn't give me stages. The diagnosis wasn't stages at that point because they didn't actually go in and biopsy that time. Mother was so protecting it at that time, and she still has been protecting me because. So there's 2 times I've been diagnosed, and now 2 times I've been going through this health adventure. And the first time Mother said in 2012 that she was going to help me heal from the diagnosis, the lymphoma. It was all in my abdominal area, which is where we women repress our emotions. And we have lots of past life stuff from all sorts of caca. Not that we haven't done caca ourselves in past lives. We've done it all.
Everybody's caca.
We're all caca together. Beautiful. No, we won't go any further with that.
I never heard a white person say that. My grandmother used to say it all the time.
Really?
Yeah, poochie or caca.
Your grandmother wasn't white? What was she? Hispanic?
There's Hispanic. Yeah, my family's Hispanic.
Caca.
So I don't want to get you off track. Now you were just saying like this time. So like take us from it happened in August, and then what happened?
Right.
How did you? Because I did see I think when you had your head shaved, you put a picture up, and I didn't know that there was a relationship, or a connection, or that another thing had happened until Morgan told me, when she scheduled you. So what happened from the point of finding out, and then what made you go into the system? Did Mother guide you to do that?
She did. So here's the thing is, and I'll try to give you the short version because otherwise we could be here for months reliving Mare's past 8 months.
We all have the time in the world.
Well, perhaps. So yeah, I went in and I had a biopsy, and they removed the whole lymph node. This one right here, where there's a scar. And I'm freaking out, but I'm tuning into Mother, and she said, this is just a bump in the road. This is just a bump in the road. You have a lot more work to do here on the earthly planes. And I'm like, okay, that's good to know. Thank you. And then a really gifted friend of mine who's Dutch, I had a Zoom meeting with her right after the biopsy, and she looked at me. As soon as she saw me, she said, this is major karma. She says, you need to find an Akashic Records healer, which I found promptly a week later and did major Akashic Record healing.
Was it like karma, like previous lives, or karma from ancestral lineage that may not have been you in that incarnation, or both?
Well, I'm sure it was both to some degree, but the biggest piece that she saw was past life stuff. And so it was really interesting because the very morning before my session with the Akashic Records healer, who, by the way, her name is Sandy Young. PM me if you want to know how to find her. She's amazing. Sandy Young is her name. The very morning before my session with this woman, I'm sitting at my main altar doing my prayers and my little ceremony, tuning into Mother and the teams. And I hear this voice in the spirit plane saying, you owe me. And I'm going, whoa. I don't know who this is. How do I deal with this, teams? And I did what I knew to do to try to resolve any unresolved soul connections, any discordant soul connections, because I've learned some of that stuff. And I felt like this, whoever it was calming down and things were in a better place. Well, then the next day when I had this session with Sandy Young, it was clear who that was. Do you want to hear this story?
Yeah, let's do it. These stories are full of code. They're full of code.
They are, aren't they? There's that word codes. I'm trying to wrap my mind around that word codes. That's another conversation. Native American people don't talk about, teachers don't talk about codes, but that's okay. For those who are just getting to know me, I've studied for years and years with Native American elders.
When you get through with this part of it, let's go into that. That'd be interesting.
Okay. All right. So I go in for this Akashic Records healing, and one of the first lives that comes forward is I am a man. It's in Italy. It's sometime around, I don't know, it feels like 1400s or so. And I'm not a very kind person. And I have hired a hitman to basically poison a bunch of my colleagues that I didn't like. And I didn't pay this man what I promised to pay him. And I was married, had a wife. And so this man still was holding that over me energetically. And he was the one I heard the morning before saying, "You owe me." And so what we did was, and I was guided, and I could hear a lot and see to some degree, but Sandy guided me through this, where I made an arrangement with this man so that he could have all of my wife's jewelry. Now, I was kind of upset about that because I knew my wife was going to be upset, but he was okay with that. He's like, "Okay, I will take that as payment," because I was very wealthy. And so he metaphysically received all my wife's jewelry. And then I told Sandy Young, the healer, I said, now I feel like I'm really in trouble, because now my wife's going to be really pissed at me because I gave away all her jewelry to this, whatever, I took all the jewelry to compensate this hitman. And she said, no, she actually won't be upset with you because you didn't hear part of the conversation. Part of the conversation was that the hitman said, "Well, if you don't give me all of your wife's jewelry, I'm going to bump her too, bump her off." Mm. So the cool thing is that was cleared and he forgave me. He took the payment. He's like, "Okay, now we're clear." And I have never heard from him since on the spirit plane. I'm like, "Fine, thank you." And then another past life thing was, oh man, I was a man, and it was sometime right around the time of Christ, I believe, in that era. And I was a centurion working for the Roman Empire. And I was a hitman at that time, but I was a professional soldier working for the Roman Emperor. And I killed a lot of people because I thought, well, I was doing what I thought I was supposed to do, working for the emperor. And in the Akashic Records sort of memory bank, I literally saw a pile of bodies, and I had killed all those people. And so I felt guilt and needed to be forgiven on the spirit plane by all those souls. And I asked for them to forgive me, and I received forgiveness. So it was a lot of forgiveness that I came forward to request so I could release a huge amount of guilt that had festered in my energy body. And
that just goes to show you that, you know, all of us, no matter what our perception is of someone else and their high vibrational standing, you know what I mean? You got to be open. Like, I mean, I really admire the fact that you sought that help immediately, and you're a practitioner, so you went to someone with that specificity, you know.
Yeah.
And so, what was that like? Were you like meeting aspects of you one by one, and just, you know, interacted with them and picked up what you needed to pick up?
Well, the way it worked was she guided me on a spiritual journey to the Akashic Records, to a little room where this very wise looking old man was sitting, and he got my book for me. And basically the request was put on the spirit plane to find the most pertinent lives that I needed to focus on to help clear what was major karma. We didn't go through all of them. I mean, I'd still be there right now. So,
are you kidding me?
You know, there's a lot of lives back there.
You're kidding me.
So that was brought forward then, the specific lives that really needed focus. And the cool thing was Sandy, as gifted as she is, she woke up early the morning before and told me as we were starting our session, she said, well, I woke up really early this morning, so I decided to start going through your Akashic records myself. And she went through a lot. And she said, well, you know, you've been a priestess many lifetimes. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense, because I'm a priestess this time, a Gaia priestess. She said, you also, you were a nurse, and you did some very heroic things during one of the wars in Europe at the end of the 1800s, which would not be my calling right now, because I don't really like being around blood that much this time. So she saw a lot. I know she didn't tell me everything that she saw. She saw that she and I had worked together in Atlantis. We both were healers, working collaboratively with some other healers in Atlantis. So there was past life stuff with her and me together, which I started to sense. You know, I'm like, Sandy, we've been together. You know?
Right.
Yeah. So
Can
Bruce,
you?
go ahead.
Yeah, Bruce, what did he say? I did it all mindfully.
Bruce is chatting a lot.
Bruce is a linguist. He is a 5D linguist, and he's got a partner in crime by the name of Violet Mellon. So they play with words, and it's quite entertaining.
Hi, Megan.
It's a show within itself.
Yeah. So you wanted me to talk about my Native American.
Yeah. Let me set it up, because I love what you said. So I never really heard of the word code either until I met Morgan. So I was more like, I think where you're coming from, but I think this is interesting, because I've never thought about, well, how do the indigenous look at merging, look at code exchange? If you and I sit down together, we're sharing at our multi-dimensional levels for sure. And then as the days go by with more consciousness at the conscious level. But so, I mean, what's their take on that? How do you exchange information? Is it, because I think of when code is not just a verbal thing, it's an energetic thing. Do they speak in those terms?
I never heard any of them use the word code in the way that I'm trying to understand. A lot of people are using it now within the circles that you and I mix in to some degree. And so, first of all, every Native American teacher is different. They're not all the same. The tribes are different. There's no, you can't say universally, although I'm about to go universally with that in a general way. There are energy downloads, which I believe is what people are terming codes. And I actually just did Mary Magdalene. I've been going through all these spiritual initiations with this healing adventure. It's been kicking in big time the past month, now that I'm in this phase of the healing adventure. But Mary Magdalene came in and gave me an initiation. And she had come in 2017. I know her energy because I've been working with her for a number of years in ceremony, so I can feel her energy and how it's different than the Virgin Mary and Mother Gaia. And so I did a message and put it up on YouTube, a message from Mary Magdalene to the world and to her devotees, so to speak. And somebody commented on one of the Facebook groups that they received codes in listening to what I did on YouTube. And I'm thinking, this woman must mean she feels an energy download, an energy activation, because at the end of the piece I did that's on YouTube, and you can go to my channel if they want, Mare Cromwell on YouTube. I called on the Christ consciousness and the Mary Magdalene together to bring forward the oneness. And I can do that now if you want.
Whatever you'd like to do.
Sure, we could go there. I mean, why not? But I understood that, okay, so this woman means codes, and that's an energetic transmission. And so most of the time when I do Gaia teachers that are on my YouTube channel, I think people might say, if they worded it that way, they're receiving codes because I bring in Mother Gaia's energy to support them. So this is my understanding, but Native American teachers don't use that word.
No, I wouldn't think they'd use that word. It wouldn't be in their nomenclature. But and I think the code thing, to me, the code thing is, look, everything's inside of us. it's you could describe it in a way by saying the junk DNA, which isn't junk. So all that's being activated, and many different things help us to activate that. And sometimes it is you pulling in Mary Magdalene. It could be you and I having a conversation. It could be Mare Cromwell, the human
You
aspect
just
of
froze
her.
on me, Todd.
Can you hear me?
Hello, hello, hello.
It looks like my signal. No, I don't. I think it's your signal. Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Oh no, it's your signal. Okay. Let me just send her a note. Hang on.
There
Okay.
you are. Hi.
Oh, you're back. Okay, so obviously there's some alignment here. The frequency brought in the beautiful harmonic disruption to take us to this point. So you proceed.
Well, tell you what, why don't I just go ahead and the two things. One, I want to share, and this is a biggie, and it took a lot of courage for me to do that message from Mary Magdalene, because she wanted me to put the message out to the world, especially those who are invoking her. And this is one of those things where it's like, you're the one, Mare, you got to put this message. And I'm like, oh, it's like Mother asking me to do the Great Mother Bible, my second book with her. It's like, you're the one. I'm like, oh, okay. All right. So the first thing is that Mary Magdalene wanted me to share publicly to those who follow her and call her in that many people are getting her. She's actually coming in for them, and others are getting imposters. And this is not making her happy, because she wants everyone to be able to connect with her directly and not imposters, spiritual imposters. So, and I'm feeling funny energy coming in on that. So those who are reactive to this on the spirit plane, you're just going to have to deal. But essentially, we need to filter who we're listening to on the spirit plane. If we don't filter, then we are likely sometimes getting imposters. And so one of the ways to filter is, as I was taught, is to ask that spiritual being, are you of the Christ? Are you of creation? Are you of luminous love? And this is just, Mary Magdalene said I had to put this out. And it was not an easy message to put out. And she had other messages she wanted me to put out also. And she loves us dearly. And she's just over the moon excited with how many people are connecting with her. But she wants everyone to connect with her and not spiritual imposters. So that was one thing. So the other thing is, yeah, I can actually, because I work with Mary Magdalene and the Christ consciousness. So this may be codes for people. If you use the term codes for spiritual energy that you feel
Activation, stimulation,
activations. So,
whatever.
All right. Hold on. I have to do a little prep work here. Okay. I am that I am, calling on Mary Magdalene. Please come in and bless all of us. She's here right now. She's so beautiful. I am that I am, calling on the Christ consciousness to please bless all of us and help us experience the oneness, the sacred union energetics of the oneness that you and Mary Magdalene held together. Whew. Holding us in sacred space. This is kind of wild, Todd, because this is the first time I've actually seen like the double helix patterns just going from Mother's heart straight out into the cosmos to the great central sun. That's fun. Are you there, Todd?
Yes.
I'm reading people's comments. It's like I want to kind of like not see the comments. I love you guys dearly, don't get me wrong, but I want to focus on Todd.
Minimize your window. You know how to do that? You have the maximum and minimum, and then just use your cursor to make the window smaller. And
Oh,
make
I
it go
see. Yeah. All right.
Oh, wait a minute. I don't know if you. Yeah, you can do that. I'm doing it right now. So
Mega
you just
light language here. I would imagine it's okay. I mean, I can tune it out. It is interesting what people are sharing. I'm really humbled that you guys are experiencing this. I felt a lot of energy coming in, and that was the first for me to actually see the double helix energetics going.
What do you think that means?
That's the divine masculine, divine feminine oneness merging.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Well, when you said it was coming out of her, that's.
Well, it was coming out of both of them because I asked for both of them to come in, first Mary Magdalene and then Christ conscious. And then I asked that we experience the oneness energetics of their sacred union merging. I didn't say merging, but sacred union. And that's when I was like, oh, wow, I've never seen that, the double helix.
Yeah.
We're in a very, this is really humbling to be able to do this work, you guys. I really need to put that out there. If there's one thing I've learned from the Native American teachers I've had is my work, my goal is to be a hollow eagle bone so that spirit just moves through me without my ego getting all pumped up about it. And to be able to offer this to you in this forum with Todd is really something. And I just need to thank my spirit teams to be able to do this.
I wanted to ask you, and thank you for that. I wanted to ask you, when this happened last August, and then you had the ceremony already had been scheduled, and you shaved your head.
Or no, it was shaved for me.
Oh, it was shaved for you.
Yeah, the abbess, the Buddhist abbess. It was really a ceremony. Like first she did a lock here and a lock here and a lock here and laid it, and then did prayers every time she ran the razor across my head. There was prayers of releasing the old, letting go. It was really full on ceremony.
So was there like a conscious intention and or conscious connection to what you had just discovered in the ceremony itself?
If I'm understanding your question, the reason, I had already gone through one round of chemo and woke up on a Monday morning, and this gets interesting here. I woke up Monday morning, like 2 weeks after that, and I started to notice that when I was brushing my hair, which was longer, it was like down to here, it was like, oh my gosh, it's coming out. It's starting to come out, like, oh. And so I contacted Suko, the abbess, the Buddhist abbess. I said, Suko, because she and I had already discussed it. She knew that I was dealing with this and was bringing me food already and visiting me. And her temple's right there. I can walk to her temple. It's so beautiful. And so all I knew was if I'm going to do this journey, which I already was on, that I'm going to do it as consciously as I can and make this, it's a spiritual journey. I mean, I don't like the word cancer because there's so much death energy associated with it. So this is why I say healing adventure. But I actually downloaded a message from the Deva of Cancer, which I haven't put out yet on YouTube. That's coming. But I knew that whatever it is I'm going through is part of my spiritual process. And so I contacted Suko that day. I said, Suko, can we do the ceremony, the hair releasing? She goes, we do it tomorrow at 7. Can you be here tomorrow at 7? Well, it turned out that it was October 7th. We met at 7 p.m. It was 77 degrees outside when I showed up at the temple. It was 7777.
What does 7 mean? I forget.
It's a very sacred number that's associated with the divine feminine. And beyond that, I can't tell you everything about it. There are people who are studying numerology more than me. So it was a huge shift not having any hair. And she burned my hair. I was going to burn it in sacred fire here in my space, but then I realized I needed to really surrender. I wasn't feeling well. She said she'd burn it in ceremony the next morning because our hair holds all this energy, you know? And so she burned it the next morning. And I really did, in the midst of the chemo and all the side effects of that and not feeling that great, putting it mildly, I really, it was like a huge release. Just letting go of the hair, because my hair, people used to tell me that people will pay a lot of money to have your hair because it was like strawberry blonde golden, and I never did anything to dye my hair. It was just, I was born that way with this golden strawberry blonde hair, and now it's not there. Matter of fact, it was bald most of the winter. It was cold.
Yeah, look at that.
And so now I have this weird hair color with gray in the front. The gray was there last year.
Oh, I love the color. Have you colored it?
No, I've done nothing. This is how I've only cut.
Let me
Transparency. I've just cut a little here.
Let me see the top of it.
I mean, it's kind of like orangey.
It's a very cool color. It's actually like
what is it? I don't even know what to call it.
So you take brown, purple, orange.
Really?
What am I trying to think of? I'm trying to think of something that's that color.
Yawn. Somebody just said yawn.
No, you would see it like on pottery or this color. What is it? I know the name of it. I can.
Not auburn. My mother said it was auburn, but her hair's auburn.
That's what I thought when you first said it. I knew a girl in high school that had auburn hair, and it was very distinct. But I'm talking about the color of your hair now. It's got like a mahogany color in it. It's got like this purple.
And I have all these curls in the back. I mean, honestly, all of you, if you've not gone through chemo and you haven't lost your hair, hello. This is what it can look like when it grows back when you're my age. It's a trip.
Saskia Vanderhoff. She said it's like a silver purple, beautiful.
Oh, but I want to share something because maybe this person who said yawn will not feel so yawning. So I spent a lot of time at my main altar here on the floor, and this is a massive altar. I mean, it just kept on growing through. It was already big to begin with. And, you know, it's interesting, Todd, because one of the biggest things that Mother and my spirit team kept on saying to me in the midst of my angst and fears and moments of clarity was like stillness. You need to still yourself. You need to eat your food in stillness. All of it is sacred. All you have is the moment. And this is ancient, ancient wisdom. I mean, obviously, many people have been told this by spiritual teachers. But, you know, up until last fall, I mean, I've been a workaholic. I've been working for Mother, boom, 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 and filled with fear. And Mother said to me, and by the way, for those who are just getting to know me, I've surrendered to serve Mother Gaia, and she was introduced into my energy body. Her energy and her consciousness were introduced into me. So my work is primarily with Mother Gaia, but I also work with the Virgin Mary. I work with Mary Magdalene. I work with a spiritual council in the omnicosmos, the universal realms called the Family of One, Una and Un's councils. The list goes on and on. Ancestors. So the thing that came forward was that I was going through a spiritual initiation. And that's really been coming home to me in the past month with all these spiritual things happening, like a big, huge tree falling in the backyard and falling right over my sacred fire space, barely touching my sacred fire ring. But it burst I didn't realize I had actually done this, but I had set up nature spirit ornaments in the trees out there and in the garden. And the tree was huge, and it broke all of that and basically has liberated me from the space that I created that was an energetic grid. And now that fallen tree is a portal. So those of you who don't know about trees and working with trees, whenever a tree is cut and whenever a tree falls, it's a portal of energy. And it's really helpful to be compassionate if a tree is cut, to one, warn the tree in advance, give it advance notice so it can pull its energy in. And if you can't do that, to at least go afterwards, after the tree's been cut and there's a stump, and close the portal. Because trees are always moving energy from the cosmos to Mother's heart. There's an energy movement there, which is really powerful. And this tree out here, when it fell, and it's a big tree and it was rotten in the base, Mother's been guiding me how to work with it so that it is a portal connected to her heart and also to the universal realms, to the family of one, which Mother Gaia is connected with in the universal realms. So that has been a huge part of my initiation in the past month with this whole spiritual health adventure thing.
Did your human aspect ever get scared?
Oh yes.
How did you deal with that? Did you have moments where that chatter got really loud and you just wanted to like?
Yeah, you know what? This is where I'm really grateful for the spirit teams I have, because basically my capacity to listen on the spirit plane, and when the fear would kick in, I would just sit in front of my huge altar, and halfway through the fall, when the fear got in really intense, because I was feeling things coming back, like it wasn't good and I might need to go back on chemo, and I was freaking out because I only did 2 rounds of chemo. And then I walked away from that oncologist, found another one who was open to alternative stuff, which is not what most people do. I was guided spiritually to work very directly with the family of one and Una and Un's councils. And I basically spent all my time spiritually with them. I was journeying and hanging out with them.
How could you describe what is the family of one and those other two?
Okay. I can call them in too. We can experience them. They would love that. They want more people to know about that.
But is the family of one, is that related like to law of one? Ra?
I don't know, because I wasn't introduced to it that way. But let me ask them, actually. I'll ask them right now. Okay, the question on the table is, are they related to the law of one? I'm getting yes.
Yeah.
Ra, yes. Yes. There's something, there's an angle on it I don't know, but I'm getting yes. They're telling me yes. So this is what I know, is that there is a set of councils in the universal realms, and they're made up of a circle of 13 who are divine feminine beings and 13 divine masculine beings. And they're all sacred. They're sacred union partners on each council to another one on the other council. So they embody a oneness. Now, within those 2 councils, Una and Un are the ones who, we don't have a word in our language for what their role really is, but they're kind of the coordinators, or the whatever that word could be, leaders. But even then, that doesn't convey it. And Una and Un make up the family of one, and they have offspring. There's the son of one and daughter of one. And Una and Un represent our universe within an inter-universal council made up of representatives from a multiple set of universes. And I was introduced to them by a gifted mentor that I was working with, a cosmic shaman mentor. And so the 1,000 Goddesses Gathering, Global Grid, I mean, you were so amazing. You came to DC in 2018 and videoed on the Washington Mall. That was Una and Un's councils behind the 1,000 Goddesses Gathering. They're the ones. The Great Mother Love Way course that I teach, they're the ones behind it. And again, so Virgin Mary and Mother Gaia sit on Una's council. And then their sacred union partners in the masculine side. I know that Guy is Mother Gaia's sacred union partner. That's a whole other story. I don't know who the Virgin Mary's sacred union partner is. It's not Joseph from the Bible. It's I don't know. When I ask these questions, what I hear is that you don't need to know.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, in the physical right now, I don't need to know. When I pass over, it'll all be made known to me. Do
you want to connect to family of one?
Yeah, basically, I'm going to call in Una and Un's councils, which includes the family of one, and they're so lovely. All right, and they are here. I am that I am, calling on Una and Un's councils to bless all of us with your luminous, luminous, luminous love. asking that you pour your luminous, luminous, luminous love on all of us here within this sacred circle, listening and watching with Todd Medina and me and all the beautiful sacred ones who have joined us in the physical. Oh. How are you doing, Todd?
I'm good. Very good.
I don't know if I can talk anymore. I'm kind of blissing out in their luminous love space.
That's okay. See, to me, that's code. It's all code.
You know, and I'm getting it. I'm getting that that's
every
code.
Image, every frequency. We just had a lady on before. It was incredible. And she went for a walk a couple of days ago, and she recorded herself doing 15 minutes of just channeling, just walking around like a spirit walk. But it was obviously the higher self. She was, receiving it. And anyway, so she goes, I can listen to it in my ears, and then I'll tell you, and I'll just go through it with you. Because part of what she received was, well, I could write this down. But in writing it down, there's less frequencies. There's not the voice, and there's not imagery.
Yeah.
And so I think of it the same way. Like, it doesn't have to be words. It can be us connecting with you, and you connecting with an energy complex called the family of one. And
I want to share, they want me, because they're talking to me right now, they want me to share that they don't ordinarily focus on Earth as a council of spiritual beings. Obviously Mother Gaia does, and the Virgin Mary has, but the other spiritual beings on these two councils. However, because of Earth's going through ascension right now, they are very, very focused on Earth and supporting us with full ascension. And they invite everyone to connect with them. And there is a free activation on my website, if you go to marecromwell.com, which is Gaia's oneness grid. And that is actually connecting with Una and Un's councils, luminous love, and calling it, drawing it in to the heart of Mother Gaia, and then inviting it into your energy body, and then asking all the waters of the world to take in this luminous love from Una and Un's councils, and all the dolphins and whales and stone people, and on and on and on. And they've asked that we do this once a month. And this is a part of the Thousand Goddesses Gathering, actually. Global Grid is the invitation to do the Gaia's Oneness Grid activation. And it's working directly with these councils they're so beautiful. So your original question, like, how did I make it through the fear stages over the winter?
Yeah, from the human perspective, and we all know that's evolving, right? But how did you?
I hung out with them. I did.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
I hung out with them.
Yeah, I get that.
I mean, because actually they have healing chambers in there. They have a crystal palace. And when I teach the Great Mother Love Way course, we spiritually journey to their crystal palace as part of that experience. And people receive healings there. And I'm putting this out publicly in this way. And those who are listening right now are welcome to see if you can travel there. I can't promise that. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that it's a very powerful place in the universal realms. There are many powerful places in the universal realms. But that's how I coped, is they loved me up all the time.
What is somebody's asking, so I'm going to put your website up. What's your website?
MareCromwell.com.
Oh, well, I could have done that. To figure that one out. There you go. It's on all the
Thank
platforms.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's on the homepage. If you look, there's a couple of free meditations, activations. So just
When I clicked enter on that comment, it was 44 minutes 44 seconds on the show.
I love it. 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 Hey, I've got a big announcement to make because Mother Gaia has been pushing me on this, and she had me up late last night doing this. On Earth Day, Mother Gaia is putting an invitation out to everyone to go outside and love her up. And love the trees and love the grass and love yourself and connect with Mother and get away from the technology. Just leave your cell phones inside. And if you can do it more than just Earth Day, all the better. But Mother it's called Loving Up Gaia Earth Day Unplugged 2021. So I just put a Facebook event page up on that late last night. And so please spread it, you guys, because I don't like being on Facebook that much. Energies are intense on Facebook for us sensitive types.
I think a lot of people have been taking hiatuses, temporary and for more extended periods of time.
Whew. Energies are intense there. I mean, as soon as I get on Facebook, I literally feel my entire energy body going like all these energy darts are coming at me, and I'm shielding and I'm sealing my energy body, and it's like, whoa, okay, we got to hop off Facebook now. You know?
And so have you had any substantial intel of substance in regard to the collective? A lot of people are talking about January and February were very much kind of like the lull after 2020, a lot of integration, people going quiet, and then it just kind of like started to explode first part of March, and here we are today. But I mean, people have been talking about kind of a period between March and May. Have you picked up on anything?
Yeah, what I can share is that the Thursday before Easter was a massive clearing. There have been all sorts of clearings on the planet, but there was a massive one.
So that would have been
the Thursday right before Holy Friday or whatever, Easter weekend. And
that was the first. That was the first.
The first.
There you go, of April.
Yeah. Okay, that was April 1st. And so what happened was...
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, what happened was there was this huge clearing, and Mother Gaia has I call it her foremost council, and she has a council of spiritual beings that represent different unseen ones around the planet that I can't really talk about that much because I'm being told I can't, other than just to word it the way I am wording it. And there were sacred zones that are deep within the Earth's crust that were linked together in a matrix and boosted with all this luminous love energy, including coming from Unanun's councils and other sources, to the point where the planet started to radiate out a whole new level of luminous love light, to the point where it was like a big deterrent to anything coming in from off planet that wasn't keen to have Earth reach full ascension. And so we have boosted just in the past week and a half or week and a day to the place now where we've come around the corner as a planet, and we are really on the way to full ascension. If there was any doubt before, that is all gone now.
Yeah.
And we are full steam ahead, and to the point where anything coming in from off planet that isn't keen on Earth reaching full ascension, because when we reach it here, and I know you know this, Todd, it's going to emanate out from here out into the whole cosmos, and that's why Unanun's councils are so focused on Earth right now. So there's a lot of cleanup happening on the universal planes far off Earth, because those beings and energies and entities, whatever you want to call them, planets, whoever they are, ETs that are not keen to have full ascension reach out throughout the universe, are getting cleaned up. And there's a lot happening on so many levels, but it's happening really fast, and it's really beautiful. And Mother wants the human realms to slow down. and heal our inner woundedness, heal our wounded child, heal. I actually had an amazing conversation just before we started with this priestess in the UK who blows my mind. She is so powerful. And she talked about the ancient feminine wound. And as soon as she said the term, my heart automatically went, we're being called to heal the ancient feminine wound. We're being called to heal the ancient masculine wound. There are deep layers of things coming forward that we all need to hold space for within ourselves and with each other. And there's a lot coming up. And if there's one thing that we really are being called to do, and I'm going to say it again, is slow down and heal. And in a way, my healing adventure over the past 8-9 months has been a huge gift. And there are people who say that. I'm not the only one that will say that cancer is a gift.
Yeah.
You know, I can really attest to that. And I'm not completely out of the woods, but I'm almost there. And I'm going to the beach next week. Yes. This is old news. I'm not making some people happy, but you know what? It's okay, guys. Maybe other people need to hear it.
Everything is relevant.
Everything is relevant. The bottom line is that what is the bottom line? What is the bottom line, Todd?
You know what I think the bottom line is well, becoming or is I seriously, I don't know anything. And it doesn't mean I'm powerless. It actually means I'm empowered. I wrote yesterday, and I still don't even know why I pushed the button, because I literally heard put this out, that the power is in the powerlessness. And I thought, what the hell does that mean? And then I sat with it, because I knew at a soul level I got it, but the human was like, well, what the hell does that mean? And then I realized whatever's happening for all of us, there's the whole that we comprise. It's bigger than us.
Oh.
And to allow it to happen in whatever way the universal sees fit. Let go. Let go. You no power. You have power. You just let it go. And then by that paradoxical thing you were talking about at the top of the show, by some crazy mathematics or sacred geometric mathematics that's just beyond visible light, just beyond our consciousness, things just start coming to you. They just start coming to you.
Yes, it's that surrender piece. It's, if there's one thing, I've really gotten in the past 8 or 9 months. And by the way, this woman, Victoria Piercing, Mother's sending you a lot of love. You have a really critical voice in your head. So I'm pointing this out to you. So Mother's sending you a lot of love right now. Okay. So if you can take it in, that would be great. If you don't have to, whatever, but it's your call. It's like when we really surrender and we're here to serve the highest good, and there's this new earth coming in and it's coming in gangbusters, we really realize that we're taken care of. I mean, I freaked out when I got this diagnosis, even though Mother said this is just a bump in the road. I said, Mother, how am I going to pay my bills? I mean, I'm pretty hand-to-mouth, doing this work for Mother. She said, you have nothing to worry about. You have nothing to worry about. And so my friend set up a GoFundMe, and I didn't know what limit to set it at. It was like, how much money do I need for the next few months? I don't know how long this adventure is going to last. And I set it at $12,000, thinking, okay, that should cover that and my medical expenses. And I did have health insurance, didn't cover everything. And do you want to know that by the end of December, early January, there was more than $15,000 people had donated into the GoFundMe.
Oh, I didn't even know about that.
Oh,
and
that's all right.
But last year, God, what the hell? Marianne Savino, she had a relapse, very similar to your story. Prior to me ever meeting her, she had a bout, and then she had it occur, and she was very public about it. And then we actually did a show about it because she was guided to share it. So she did a GoFundMe, and I think it was 10 or 12,000. and we did. We didn't do it, but we brought a little more attention to it. We kind of put it out there, and same thing happened to her. Last time I saw it was like 15 or 16,000. Yeah, and
No, it really, love is a term that's way overused, and yet at the same time, what I learned is how much I'm loved, how much I'm appreciated. And it was humbling. It was humbling to see all these donations come in, and plus people are paying me directly, so that wasn't even all that came in. And that mother saying to me, "You have nothing to worry about. You're taken care of. You have nothing to worry about." And then even like this winter, I'm still working part-time. I'm still healing, and then there, some of my family's been giving me some money, which I never expected, because I never expected that. And so I just want to put the message out to everybody that if you are serving the highest good for divine plan alignment, and you're serving Mother Gaia, and you're serving the new earth coming in, and you are surrendering, you are taken care of. And I know, Todd, you and Morgan have been living this. You guys have been living in a way that very few people have that level of trust, to be hanging your butts out on the edge of the cliff to the extent that you guys have. And I just want to thank you, because one, you provide a forum for people like me. You show up at the Thousand Goddesses Gathering in the Washington Mall and videotape, and I had no money to give you. You're raising money for me at that point. And so just thank you. And thank you for being role models for the rest of us in trusting, because life is a trust leap. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
And, it's just, and the amount of love coming in from the spiritual planes for every single one of us, if we only really knew how much love there is for every single one of us, I love reading near-death experiences. I love reading them, because most people, I think it's like 100% people, they're always like, the amount of love I felt.
You don't want to come back.
I know.
Come back.
And then they realize they have more work to do.
You're like, I don't want to go. You gotta go. Well, it's been really, really good and resonating to spend some time with you after our previous collaborations. And that was
by the way, we're doing the Thousand Goddesses Gathering again, Global Grid, October 23rd. Everyone listening, October 23rd. Ceremony wherever you are around the world. I don't know what COVID, pandemic, quarantine, shutdown, whatever it is, you can still do ceremony. Join the grid. Go to 1000. Did I say that right? Goddesses.net. I need to update the website. It hasn't been updated yet, but the key information's there.
Wait, hang on. So it's 1000.
1000. Goddesses.net.
Goddesses.net. Goddesses has one S on the end. Yeah, there we go. And MareCromwell.com. And thank you for being so open and sharing your journey of expansion.
And Earth Day.
Earth
Day. Unplugged. Earth Day unplugged. Go outside and play with Mother. Walk barefoot. Hug a tree. Smell the flowers. Connect to Mother's heart. Anyway, Todd, you absolutely rock. You and Morgan rock. I hope you don't have another interview right now, because we're going over a few minutes.
No, I got another one coming. This is my nap time, siesta time. I got to take. No, the energies from the energies have just been bigger and longer and faster and whatever adjectives you want to get. But I've noticed it since December. Like it's it's like, well, I've noticed like doing the shows. It's never been an issue with me. 2,500 shows now. I think we're like 27 this far into the year. But anyway, I've noticed there's a lot of energy that's exchanging, or I don't know how to explain it. To me, it feels like an exchange. Like there's stuff coming, stuff going. And when it's in this type of, for me anyway, it's so if I do 3 or 4 shows, I usually try to lay down. That's what I'm going to do. We'll be back in 2 hours with the poetess, Karen Starr, who we haven't seen in quite a while. Mare, anything I can do, you let me know. I love you. Thank you.
I love you. Thank you, Todd. You rock. Love to everybody who joined us. Mwah.